Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, thanks, Sid, for joining us. I thought you were just going to sit on your phone the whole
You're
time.
welcome. I'm gracing you with my presence.
Still on your phone, though.
I'm looking at something, okay?
That's all right. You're forgiven. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, your favorite Ari Aster news podcast. In today's edition of Ari Aster News, Midsummer has been moved up from the end of August to the first weekend in July. So let's just get a little praise be about the fact that we will now be seeing Midsummer like almost 2 months earlier.
Woohoo. Almost like we'll be seeing it in midsummer.
Even though summer starts in August, right?
No.
Or does autumn start in August? When do the seasons start?
Summer starts in June.
Yeah. And it ends in September.
Oh. Well, then I was right. August is summer.
Yes, but summer does not start in August.
In other news, Midsummer looks really good.
Yes, it does.
And that will conclude this episode of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, your
See ya,
favorite
bye.
Ari Aster news podcast. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Midsummer is the upcoming film from the director of Hereditary. And Becca is incredibly excited to see Midsummer.
So excited.
She
if
can't
you
wait.
can't tell by my voice.
Oh, you think it looks good?
I do. I mean, the colors look good. I just think that it's a movie that I will hate for the first 3 times I watch it and then come around to it on the 4th time, maybe a little.
When we peer pressure you into liking it.
Yeah.
Yes. So for all those everyday movie watchers, you have to get through something at least 3 times before
That's true.
you'll like it.
So your homework, all of you out there, is to go watch Suspiria 4 times.
And then you can be a real arty movie watcher.
Arty movie watcher. No, and don't worry, folks. We most definitely will be doing an episode on Midsummer when it comes out. I'm very confident in that.
And I'm sure that we'll see it in theaters at least twice.
At least twice. Except for in other movie watching news, before we get into the topic of discussion today, we canceled our Cinemia.
That we did.
I'm probably going to cancel mine.
Yeah, we just, because I tried to email them a couple of times, heard nothing back. They wanted my government ID for some reason, and I was like, there's no reason for you to have that. But they had locked me out of my account without it, so I just did a chargeback. And I got half my money back because I used the service for 6 months. So
Seems fair.
and I did this a little while ago. It was like 10 or 12 days after I filed the chargeback with my bank. I got an email from Cinemia that was like, your account has been suspended because you did a chargeback. I'm like, you mean to tell me for these last 10 days I could have been trying to use this thing? But I didn't. So now we are officially only Cinemark Movie Club members, but we're looking, folks. We're looking to get into a polyamorous relationship with some movie ticket subscription services, all right? That's all I'm saying.
Which we actually really like Cinemark Movie Pass.
Oh, it's great. I wish we had an AMC by us.
Yeah.
But-
Like, I know you have to pay, like, basically full price for a movie for
Well, but
Cinemark.
with the
but-
discount
Yeah.
on concessions.
And it's just nice to, like, go in the app and just, like, oh, I have...
Well, yeah, that's the
7
thing is I like that it like it rolls over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we still pay for a movie every month, but
It
doesn't feel like it. I just heard some news come out that Atom, the popular ticketing app and competitor to Fandango, has announced that they will be offering subscription services for movie chains, right? So they themselves won't have one, but if movie chains want to, if theater chains want to collaborate with them, then they have announced that they will handle the front end and the billing and all of that. So basically, hopefully, for the Utahns out there, we're hoping that Megaplex jumps on board with this Atom subscription thing, because I actually really like the Atom app. You can order concessions on there and just go pick them up. It's cool stuff. But that would really make my day, is if we could have Cinemark and Megaplex. Except for that doesn't cover for the edge cases when we have to go like up to Salt Lake to see something. which is apparently what's going to happen if High Life ever comes to Utah, because right now there are no scheduled showings at any point, and I really want to watch it.
Me too.
Want to see me some Robert Pattinson, because Becca won't watch Good Time with me again.
Give it like 3 months and I'll watch it again.
Oh, it was like 3 months since we watched it.
We'll watch
Exactly.
Twilight with you.
No, that's not
There
the
you
same
go.
thing as Good Time.
New Moon.
New Moon. Eclipse is the best
He's
one.
more gross in New Moon.
Yeah.
It's just
When
so
he's like,
sweaty.
He like steps out in the sun.
ew, he's so white and hairy. We still love him.
Everybody else, your homework out there as well is to go and listen or watch, not listen to. I made a mistake, folks.
That was so silly.
Go out and watch Good Time starring Robert Pattinson.
Very good.
It's a good time.
That was really funny.
Yeah. He doesn't have a good time, though. It's a sad movie.
But he does great in that movie.
Oh, he's amazing. He's so good.
Yeah.
I know that we had the freaking, whatever, Churchill with the Darkest Hour. What's his name?
Oh,
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon-
No, Commissioner Gordon. I'm getting there.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. I know we had that, and that was a good performance. He did a good job, but Robert Pattinson was super snubbed that year at the Oscars. Should have at least gotten a nomination. But apparently the Oscars know nothing about acting. Actually, no, they gave it to Olivia Colman. So we're gonna get on track here, folks. Welcome to episode 26 of We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, the only podcast on the internet where we watch a movie and then talk about it. There are other podcasts on the internet where people may watch movies and then talk about it, but this is the only one where we do that thing. So, today we will be discussing the 1999 Academy Award winning classic directed by the Wachowski brothers, The Matrix. I built that up, but the title's right. I mean, if you clicked on this, you know what we're talking about. I don't know why I tried to be like, oh, what are we talking about? What's it going to be? It's The Matrix. You clicked on this episode. Yeah, we watched The Matrix. Becca and Sid had never seen The Matrix. Becca's convinced that she had.
Well,
really
after
don't
watching
think-
it, I know I haven't, but I swear I've seen this movie on my shelf at home. But
I guarantee you haven't.
I'm sure I haven't. My parents would not allow this movie in my home.
Becca's such a rebel watching The Matrix at
Yeah.
22.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. Yeah, we watched The Matrix. We wanted to do a sci-fi movie, so we did The Matrix, and it was fun. Guys, what did we learn today watching The Matrix?
I hate to say, I accidentally fell asleep for a couple minutes. That's not a direct reflection of the movie, but it is the thing that happened while we were watching the movie.
Well, here's the thing. The most important things that we learned, Becca, I know you were awake for, okay?
Okay.
What did we learn? This is a pop quiz.
We learned that leather makes butts look good.
Leather is good. We learned that leather is good, folks.
But it also only exists in not real life.
Yeah, only in The Matrix. So, really, what we're going at here is that if you have the choice to live in or out of The Matrix, think of the leather.
I would totally live in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
out of the Matrix sucks.
Well, let's give the newbies a little bit of a rundown here, right? For those of you who have not seen The Matrix, I mean, it's 20 years old at this point? That's
Yeah.
crazy. This is a 20-year-old movie.
Jeez.
It is the story of a hacker expert man named Neo. He is a hacker man in the world, and then one day Lawrence Fishburne shows up and hacks him right out of the real world. You know what I mean? He just unplugs him. Turns out that robots. Turns out that robots became sentient. We gave them artificial intelligence, and big surprise, surprise, they Skyneted us. They turned all evil and stuff, so we blacked out the sun. I don't know how we did it. Maybe nuclear weapons of some sort. But no way to know. We blacked out the sun because they were reliant on solar energy, but the robots
But
were
like,
smarter.
so are we. Like, if we don't have the sun, we
Well,
also
Becca,
die.
we just grew plants on the International Space Station. That's a real thing.
Okay, how does that help us?
Well, then
here on
they
Earth?
can grow the cows on Earth
To make the leather.
to make the
Oh,
leather.
right.
It's all about the leather.
So after blacking out the sun, the robots were like, well, I'll show you guys. And they captured all of the humans, put them in little incubation pods, and used them as batteries. They just charged themselves off of the heat energy created by humans' metabolisms. And then when a human would die, they'd liquefy them and intravenously inject them into the other humans. So they're all cannibals.
Ew.
I missed all of that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
All right, well, Becca's going to have an odd perspective on this movie. Then.
Was that explained at the very beginning?
No, it was during the
No.
rebirth sequence. Remember when Neo
When
like
he's all
wakes up in the pod
gooey?
and he's all gooey and then he slops down
Yeah.
the birth canal into the pool of placenta?
I didn't realize that was liquefied human.
It's metaphorical, Becca. Well, no, it actually is liquefied human, but the whole birth scene is,
Well, sure.
yeah.
But I didn't realize the fluid was liquefied human. Everything else I understood, just not the whole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
okay.
when Morpheus talked about it when he was like, I saw the fields and I saw the babies being fed the humans.
Okay, yeah, that was the part that I was falling asleep in.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
do remember falling asleep during that part.
Okay. So then Neo downloads a bunch of karate programs onto his brain, becomes super good at karate, goes back into the Matrix for some reason to go see the Oracle. After going to see the Oracle, they get betrayed by Cypher, who's a dick. But they turn it around. Morpheus gets captured. They go rescue Morpheus. And Neo finds out that he's the one after being told that he is not the one. He does some backflips. He gets shot a few times. He comes back from getting shot. He stops the bullets and kisses Trinity.
And his name is Neo, not Neil. Every time they said Neo, it sounded like Neil, and I was like, "That's a dumb name." For this character.
This movie's a lot better if you think his name is Neil.
I mean, it kind of feels more fitting for just like a computer hack sitting in his bedroom.
Neil is an accountant, not a programmer.
I could see it, just like some guy stuck in his room, just like hacking things. Hi, I'm Neil. Like,
But his real name is Thomas. Like,
oh yeah, that was pretty dumb.
why would you change your name from Neil to or from Thomas to Neil? Like,
I don't know.
whatever. There's some backflips. There's some leather. There's some punches. There's some kicks. There's some more leather. There's some jumps. There's some guns.
There's a moment where Neo wakes up and says, "I know kung fu."
Yeah, that's a real line. Neo, this is loco. And also, a man born outside of the Matrix lives his entire life in the real world, makes some airline jokes, even though he would have no way to have ever been on an airline. And I don't think that that's what they focused on in his training.
Wait, well, so if he lives outside the Matrix, did he ever go into the Matrix?
Nope.
Okay,
Remember,
and
he
can't.
just jacked him in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he couldn't. He doesn't have a connection.
Okay,
You got to have the plug on the back of your head.
that's what I was thinking. I was just confirming.
That's okay. That's understandable. So that's The Matrix. It's pretty cool. Overall, it's a fun movie, and I like it. But we're going to get some spicy hot takes. Tss. Don't burn yourself on these hot takes. Becca, what's your hot take for the parts of The Matrix that you saw?
Well, since I fell asleep, I feel like it's not going to be that hot. It's just going to be a little bit warm. I liked it. I thought it was really fun. I mean, super cheesy,
Oh, yeah.
but I feel like cheesy movies are some of the best movies. But yeah, I think like the premise was really interesting, and I am like slowly getting more and more like really into sci-fi.
Yes.
I think
That's
it's
the gate.
awesome.
That's the gateway to horror. I got into sci-fi first and then horror. So
Okay,
you're on your
well,
way.
I mean, I will watch most sci-fi movies at this point, I think.
It's amazing.
Horror, I will not, but
Oh,
sci-fi is so fun because you can get away with anything because it's sci-fi.
In
can do anything.
other related sci-fi news, Dune began filming
Oh,
last week. I think
it's gonna be good.
it's gonna be so good. Keep going.
Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, it's like a fun, cheesy sci-fi action movie that is enjoyable to just watch on a Saturday night like we did.
Afternoon.
Well, it's night now. It's late evening. It's evening.
All right, that's fine.
So, yes, I thought it was fun.
Right on. All right, Sid. How did this movie stack up to Call Me by Your Name?
Oh,
How to compare?
oh man. We'll both have beautiful leads.
I
There's
thought you
no.
were gonna say beautiful butts.
Yeah, there's some nice butts. A lot more leather in this one.
I think Call Me by Your Name would have been better if they were all
Oh
just
my
in shiny
gosh.
leather the entire
Just
time.
in the heat of Italy in the middle of summer. That'd be great.
That's just them walking down the
gross.
street.
How about the love story, though? You know, like Trinity and Neo, how
But,
do they compare?
You know, there's no the gay, so I don't know. I think it's fine. You know, I wasn't as invested in the love story in this one, but
Trinity didn't even. There was no love story until she
know.
was like, "I love you."
you
Becca,
can't be dead. because
when
I
you
love
know, you know. All right.
It's just because they were the only two male and female
No.
around the same age that
Morpheus
were
was there.
attractive.
Who were
Did
on
you
Tank
listen-
was
equal-
Did
still
you
there.
listen to
They
the
were on
other
equal levels of
requirements?
hotness.
Yes.
Tank was attractive.
Yeah, but he wasn't like a bad A.
He
Well,
wasn't.
it's not his fault. He
He
was born in
said-
the. What do you mean not a?
He said loco.
You're right.
He said loco. He got electrocuted half dozen times, and even the big brother, he's like, "Oh, I'm burning," and then he gets electrocuted and he dies, and then the other guy dies. Everybody else got electrocuted, died except for Tank. You guys know about it?
Yeah, but he's not the one.
Mm-mm. My favorite part is at the beginning when the directors are like, you can like see the director get in front of the camera and start like winking at you when Neo's friend shows up, and he's like, "Dude, you're my savior, my own personal Jesus Christ." It's like, oh wow, is Neo some sort of Christ? Who knows? Hot takes.
All right, back to my hot take. I liked it. I think Andrew's comments and horny comments really enhanced it for me.
I wish everybody could have just seen
Oh,
Andrew
man.
the entire movie.
He was having a good time.
trying to high five me for good butt. Like, I don't know.
I was trying to high five you for shiny leather in general, not. Although this specific instance of shiny leather, pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think, I mean, it's when this was made, it was very different than movies now. So there were some things that I didn't love about it. But like the fight scenes were all really fun. Just the whole premise was really interesting. And love Keanu. Love him.
How do you not?
Beautiful, beautiful brown eyes. Just stare into them all day.
We need to do just like a collective episode on all of the John Wicks, I think.
Yes.
Oh, that would be great.
When
be
the
really
when
fun.
the third one comes
Yeah,
out.
when the third one comes
Yeah.
out.
It would just be us like talking through every scene.
Yeah, we
Like,
just be like, oh my gosh, when he that pencil scene, and then we just like yell, and then we'd be like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, and that when the house explodes, it'd just be us screaming.
it'd have to be more like just a watch through where we just watch it and comment.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh, do
on
like
the
a
podcast.
Mystery Science Theater thing.
Yeah.
We'd have to buy the rights to John
Oh.
Wick.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of
Never
scratch.
mind.
Maybe if we just
Um,
ask Keanu nicely. He
maybe
seems like a reasonable guy.
he seems like a really nice guy. There's a whole subreddit. It's like Keanu being something. Keanu being awesome
Mhm.
is the name of the subreddit, and it's literally just Keanu Reeves doing cool things, like donating to charity or like hugging a fan or like everything. It's so great. My hot take on The Matrix is that Becca's overselling my commitment to the leather a little bit. She's making me seem
I?
like a pervert. And while the leather is very cool, the rest of the movie is also very cool. This movie flies by. It's like there's a lot of things to like about this movie, and I think I thought less of it going into it than I did coming out of it. Like it's a very competently made movie, and I'm always a big proponent of you have to rate a movie based on what it's trying to do rather than like in comparison to every other movie ever. So like this wasn't trying to be like The Thin Red Line, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just trying to be friggin' awesome.
Tie into Thin Red Line.
Ooh,
The guy who plays Mouse is in Thin Red Line.
that's hardly fair. Everybody is in Thin Red Line.
Okay, well, I just little trivia, fun in there.
Thank you. He had
You're
a busy 1999.
Those were probably his only 2 movies.
Poor kid. He probably died in Thin Red Line too. He got killed so unceremoniously in this movie. He deserved better. No, this movie is. I think this movie is interesting though. It was made at a very interesting time in American, I guess, world history, rather than just American history. This is just an interesting response to a lot of the anxieties surrounding technology around Y2K. For those of you who don't know what Y2K is, we might have some younger listeners out there. I don't know. Becca doesn't remember Y2K.
I was 4 years old.
That's what I'm saying. It's okay. You were 4.
Well, we have people born after 2000. I just realized this the other day. People born in 2000 are 19.
That's crazy sauce.
Isn't that weird? That's weird.
That's super gross. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, Y2K was, and it seems ridiculous now, but it was basically this fear that when the new year struck on January 1st, 2000, that it would like crash all of the computers because they didn't know how, they wouldn't know how to render the date without like a 19 something, basically. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but that was basically, it was like the idea that like technology was going to crash at midnight on January 1st, 2000 because they wouldn't know how to like handle a new millennium. And it was actually a real thing. Like there was a lot of like, there's a basis in fact behind it. There was a lot of like coding and stuff that had to go on, and updates and development that had to go into allowing computers to like sense the change, which is weird. It's I don't know. It's more complicated than I really understand. But point being, around this time, there was a lot of anxiety surrounding the rise of technology, the rise of AI. The 80s saw things like RoboCop and Terminator and things like that. And this is kind of the 90s version of one of those movies, I think, of the robots rebelling. And it's not really I mean, we get something like Ex Machina these days, but even that is like the technology doesn't turn evil. It's almost like we've matured in our understanding of what artificial intelligence could entail, and that like AI isn't automatically going to become evil. But you had things like this, and then iRobot came out just like a few years after this, I think. You had Minority Report around this time, like all of these movies that dealt with the anxiety surrounding the advancement of technology and I guess what would happen if we pushed it too far. And I think this movie is one of the more interesting representations of a possibility of that, right? It's really similar to Terminator and the whole like Skynet thing. It goes sentient and then decides to kill all the humans. But in this one, it's even more interesting because the robots only took us in as their food source because, like, we blocked out the sun, which is not a smart move on our part. But even Lawrence Fishburne says we don't know who fired first, which it was probably the humans because we kind of suck. But I don't know. Watching this, I was like trying to put myself in the 90s mindset. And like I said, there's just a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear around technology at that time. And I think this is a very interesting response to that, while also being like, I just saw Mission Impossible. You know what I mean? So good job, Wachowski brothers. This one's good
Why are they called the Wachowski brothers?
because it's two brothers with the last name Wachowski. Why are the Coen brothers called the Coen brothers?
No, they're sisters.
Well,
I mean, okay, one of them is transgender into a woman. But
I don't know.
okay, well, I guess that's their name.
It's how they're credited,
Yeah.
literally, as the Wachowski brothers.
I don't know. Okay, well,
This movie also won 4 Academy Awards, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Sound editing, sound mixing, visual effects, and editing. So, this was before. So back then they had best sound and best effects, sound effects editing. So they've kind of changed those into sound editing and sound mixing these days. But interesting, which is funny because the sound was one of the things that we kind of mocked as the movie went through.
yeah.
That's true.
Like, there's a few really egregious examples. Like at the very beginning when Trinity is running away and she dive bombs through the window shattering sound is just like, it just sounds like a copy pasted MP3. Like, it's just so bad. And then when Neo pulls the gun off of the rack,
And just
like just from him handling it,
Because that's the sound guns make.
right? Like, I don't know. We found ourselves making fun of this, but there were other times when the sound is awesome. I think of when Neo gets woken up and like the metallic liquid goes inside of his mouth. And it almost like garbles his voice from like a scream into like a dial-up signal. I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
That was a pretty cool scene.
Did you
Like-
see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was awake for that one. It was after that I fell asleep.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. But yeah. And the visual effects are good. I mean, 20 years old. They're fine.
Yeah.
Well done. And the editing was surprising. Here's the thing. This movie is pretty competently made. Like, yeah, it's cheesy and yeah, it's over the top. And it's even hard to say that the performances are bad, though. Because
You just have to like watch it understanding that it's 20 years old.
yeah.
not even that. Like, it was almost like they saw Keanu Reeves act in a movie. And then the directors were just like, okay, everybody, this is what we're doing. All right? We're stone-faced. We're emotionless. We're monotone. That's what we are all doing. And they just like built a world around it. And honestly, standout performances from Hugo Weaving, who is incredible, and Lawrence Fishburne as well, I think does a very, very good job in this. But Hugo Weaving steals the show as Agent Smith. That scene where he's interrogating Morpheus and he's like all up in his face. The look on he just looks like a maniac.
And his like bottom teeth, like his jaw. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just like is creepy and he doesn't really look human.
He does such he's not, but
Well, yeah, but like as a human acting as a robot, he doesn't look like a human.
he does such a good job. I don't know. And the physical acting, it's all there. This is a very well-made movie.
Yeah.
Even though it's very over the top. What else do you guys like? What stood out to you?
Well, there were a few times with the camera work that there are a few things that I liked, and then they did it too many times, and then I hated it. They would use like sunglasses to
The reflections in Morpheus's eyes.
yeah, well, not just hit like all of them. They would just use like they would use mirrors and sunglasses and everything to show like perfectly clear images of the reflection. but like they looked a little bit off. And the first couple times I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's a good way to show both people in the same image in the same scene. But then they kept doing it and it just bugged me. And every single time it happened, it just like really pulled me out of the movie. And I was like, okay, here we go.
It's no Black Swan.
No.
The reflections.
No.
All right. What about you, Sid? What stood out to you here? Or what didn't you like? I mean, I don't care.
My only complaint is I feel like the beginning is very slow, and I don't know, it just feels like it takes a long time for it to get like any real action. I feel like the exposition is, I mean, it's a confusing movie, so they had to use a lot of exposition to explain it. What?
But it's literally Morpheus sitting down and being like, "This is the Matrix. You are living in the Matrix. You are a slave to the Matrix. Would you like to no longer be said slave?" Like,
so like, I don't know. I just think like the second act is just really slow, and I just, because like it's a post-apocalyptic world, and like all these characters are just kind of like going through life. They're not really having fun. It's just like that second act is just not super fun. But then like once they get into like the mission or whatever, and all the fighting, then it gets awesome. And I don't know, I just feel like I care more when something's happening, rather than when they're just like talking about the foods that they're eating for 2 minutes. So
it's not just the food. He's talking about the girl in the red dress.
I know.
I feel like also I didn't feel like Neo's reality was popped as much as I wanted it to. Like I didn't feel like he was just this hacker and then all of a sudden the world wasn't what he thought it was. Like I don't know. I think they were trying to go for that and then it just didn't feel.
Well, he's the one. He's supposed to accept it all, right?
Well, yeah, but I wanted to feel more like, oh, here's this regular dude who just doesn't fit in with his life and is confused and is looking for something or whatever. And then all of a sudden, what? Like, my life isn't real? I'm in the Matrix? Like, and I didn't have that moment.
Yeah, it seemed like he had done maybe like a lot of prior research because he knew of the Matrix. Because that's all they said is like, do you want to know what the Matrix is? Do you want to know what it is? And he's like, yeah, tell me.
Yeah. Well, and also like I had no reason to expect him to be like, oh yeah, I just met this stranger guy and I'm going to take a pill that will never let me come back to my life as I know it. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel like he had enough reason to do that.
Yeah, he was very trusting of the random string that showed up on his computer.
Yeah, but not of the like official agents that were like, we need your help.
He's like sitting there and all of a sudden on his screen it's like, follow the white rabbit. And he sees a girl with a tattoo and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to this sleazy club. Like,
yeah, so like just like a few things in the beginning, which I don't even know how it would have been different to make it better, because obviously you want to get to all the cool fighting scenes, but it just like didn't hit it for me in the beginning.
That's fair. I mean, the standout here is the world and the fighting scenes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And maybe you guys are right. Maybe they take, I don't know. I really like the world. I don't know that I agree that it's too slow. I kind of like it. I feel like it gives us a chance to live in it a little bit. I would agree with the whole, like, his motivations are weird, for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, he does it because he is the main character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like I understood him as a character as Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, he doesn't really have an identity outside of being the one. And even when they're like, you're not the one, we know he's the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, even if they, like, if the first whole sequence with Trinity, like, they didn't need to start the movie with that. If they just started it with, like, a regular guy who hates his job and gets into hacking and learns all this weird stuff on his computer, that'd be cool.
Yeah, they wanted to start it out with that awesome shot of her in the air, and then the camera does a 180 around her and she kicks the guy. Plus the freaking scene where the agents show up and the lieutenant is like, "No, don't give me that jurisdiction crap because we sent 2 units," and he's like, "No, Lieutenant, your men are already dead." And I was like, "Ah." It's just awesome. It's great.
Yeah, it's all right.
And it does suffer. I mean, we talked about this while we were watching it, but it does suffer a little bit from like bad things happen because people act like morons. Like they had plenty of time to get all 3 of them out of that phone in the
Oh my
subway.
gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
but Trinity is like, "The Oracle told me that I would fall in love."
Well, it's not even there that she says it.
Yeah.
She's just like, everything the Oracle said has been fulfilled except this. And then she like goes and grabs
It's
the
like,
phone. Like
do
she
you
doesn't
really
say
need to
it.
spend 2 minutes saying
Yeah.
that? Like, just wait.
Yeah, like they had plenty of time to get all 3 of them out, but
Yes.
they needed Neo to.
Have that super cool fight.
Super cool. He just picks the bullet out of the air. Freaking dope.
When he's fighting Agent Smith and he's just like total blank face and he's just like,
Puts
Just
one hand behind his back and
That was pretty awesome. And then he jumps inside him somehow.
oh yeah,
All right.
okay, I guess.
sure. It's Matrix, you can do what you want,
I guess so.
right?
Well, that's what I was saying the whole time. I was like, it's not real. So can't they just like change anything? But no one got it until Neo finally got it.
Yeah. The other thing that bothered me significantly more than previous watches, because I haven't seen this movie for several years. It's probably been 4 or 5 years since I've watched this. It's just the like intense fetishization of guns.
We need guns.
No, but like
Lots
a
of
little, like a lot, like so many of the like slow motion scenes of the shells falling, and
Mhm.
I was like, this is just a little uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, here's the thing. I obviously like fight scenes. And even something like John Wick. Like, he just goes around popping dudes in the
Okay,
face.
yeah.
Like, that's a very gun-friendly movie. But this felt like...
It's just because like especially like in that helicopter scene when it's just like raining and
Yeah.
It just makes it
things.
seem like so beautiful.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I mean, like it was a
Yeah.
cool shot, but also it's like, ooh, this was at a time when guns were not good.
Well, this
guns were good.
this was... I'd have to fact check this, but this was supposedly like the inspiration for Columbine. It was like the kids,
seriously?
the kids that did it saw this, and that's like why they wore big trench coats to...
Ooh.
And so, like, watching it, knowing that, it's like, you can kind of see it. Like,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
it is, I don't know, that, and that's, maybe I'm just being a bit of a snowflake, but that was the one thing that watching this, I was just like, oh, that's a little unfortunate little.
Well,
Well,
yeah, when
and the
they're
fight scenes are cooler than the guns anyway.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
like there's that scene where Neo's like guns, a lot of them, and there's just like millions that just like encompass them.
Way more than you could even
Like
carry.
And he picks
Yeah.
up like 6.
Yeah.
It's like that took processing power to render all of those guns in that little simulation room. Like, you could have just given him a suitcase. Also, if that was a possibility, then the freaking squad team, whatever, went in so unprepared. They could just go in and be like, "Oh, I'm bringing a bazooka this time." Like,
I know, that's like, I wanted things to be more crazy and weird because it would be if the Matrix existed.
yeah, it's almost like they didn't explore it to its full extent. Well, then you
Yeah.
would love the sequels.
But I thought you said they weren't that good.
They're not that good, but they get wacky.
Hmm.
There's this incredible scene where they have it's like a fight scene on top of semi trucks that are going down the highway.
Ooh,
It's so
that
cool.
sounds cool.
It's so cool. So that was really the main thing, is there was like during the lobby scene specifically and the helicopter scene. I was going to mention that one as well, like Sid did.
Well, because the lobby, like, there was like 5 guys and
Yeah.
it took like 10
This
minutes.
room is
And
just
so many
obliterated.
bullets.
Well, but again, it was the way that it was filmed, right? It was like the shells falling were almost like eroticized. It was so weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I mean, I like fight scenes. I just don't love guns, and
Yeah.
I didn't love that it made the guns look so sexy. I guess
Yeah.
stick with the leather, guys. It's healthy to find leather sexy. It's not healthy to find bullet shells sexy.
It's true.
That's more of an aside comment. There's a whole debate there to be had. And like I said, maybe I'm just being too much of a snowflake, but I just like, as soon as I saw that scene, I just like had Columbine pop into my head and I was just like,
Ooh.
"Ugh.
Yikes.
No, thank you. So, watch this movie because it's awesome, but do not use it as inspiration.
Nope.
That's I don't. If that needed to be said, I've said it now, right?
Thank you.
Both in massive shootings and creating AI that will enslave us.
Oh yeah, don't
Yes,
do either
don't
of
do
those
that.
things. Programmers, you're not exempt from this when you're doing all your machine learning stuff. Don't create a sentient AI that wants to murder us all, or not murder
Or
us,
some
feed off
separate
of us.
reality that we can jump in and out of.
Here's the thing: The Matrix is dope,
It
and
is pretty cool.
this is the other discussion that I want to have: is the Matrix thought experiment, right? The Matrix is real. Would you prefer to just live in the Matrix, or do you want to be savior of humanity and take down the robots?
Do I get to wear leather and kiss Keanu Reeves?
That's only in the Matrix.
That's true. See, all the cool
But
things
she gets to kiss
happen
him
in the Matrix.
real life. Okay, so
Oh, and
take
only-
leather out of the equation.
And only the people who knew about the real world got to wear leather.
I just would want to be in the Matrix. I
Dude,
mean,
I kind of agree with you.
it's just like a depressing world. And if I could just have a normal life and not have to worry about the fact that
That's what I said.
I'm robot food.
Yeah. The Agent Smith, not a good dude. All right. Bit of a hard ass. Don't like him. But you even heard him. He's like, the first time we tried this, we made it a perfect paradise, but your brains rejected it. Like, it's not like they tried to do right by us.
Yeah.
They tried to give us a real world. You know what I mean? If I live in the Matrix right now, don't unplug me. Morpheus, if you're listening, don't unplug me.
Yeah, I do not want to find out that I'm actually kind of part robot and have weird holes in my body.
Except for the exception being, if you do unplug me, load up my brain with all the cool crap and just shove me right back in.
Yes,
right?
agreed.
If I can start zipping around like freaking Superman, because that's what Neo does at the end. He literally just like blasts off like Superman. If I can make that happen, yeah.
Yes. But see, that can only happen in the Matrix. So if
That's what I'm saying.
you're
So
in the Matrix, it's just the idea, like, just believe you can do it.
that's what I'm
and
saying.
you
So
can do it.
pop me out, expand my consciousness, open my third eye, throw me back in.
Yes.
That's what I want.
I would be okay with that.
That'd be super.
That would
cool.
be the blue pill, right?
Can you? No, you'd have to take the red pill and then.
Well, but the blue pill, you like learn about the real world and then you wake up and you think it's a dream or something, right?
No, the blue pill is just probably a sleeping pill.
yeah, probably.
Okay. I thought you would learn something.
No, that was like I don't want anything to do with this pill.
Okay.
Yeah. Because think about this, right? You're in the Matrix and you're like Superman, right? Like you can dodge bullets, you can do whatever you want. Let's say I have a few too many hot pockets. And I'm like, dude, I need to lose like 30 pounds. You just like think about it and oh, I'm slim. That'd be so cool.
Be great.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Can you imagine just dream logic applying,
Ugh.
but you never wake up?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would
That's
be
why
cool.
I want to stay in the Matrix. Like the
Well,
real
no, but
world
you
is
need to
awful.
you need to get out, have your brain all loaded up with the crazy training programs, and then get put back in. Just staying in the Matrix, you
No.
break even.
You can do it in the real world. It's like Zoolander. They load his brain.
I suppose that's true.
So see, it happens in the Matrix
Hmm.
too.
Also, the timing at the end to throw that EMP right as Neo gets back in. Good stuff. Good stuff. Love it.
And they try to make you think that he doesn't make it. or that he might not make it. You don't know, but obviously he made it.
He's the one.
Of course. The only one. Now there's only 4 of them.
They just go to Zion and get some more people.
Yeah, I don't believe Zion exists.
That's pretty anti-Semitic of you.
Well, they never went to it.
Well, yeah, they were a little busy.
How am I supposed to actually believe that there's like a whole community of people surviving underground?
Because Morpheus said there was.
Yeah, but he might have his own agenda.
Oh,
Like,
you think Morpheus is the bad guy?
I don't know.
Dude, now we have to watch 2 and 3.
Why, is he the bad guy?
Oh, you never. You gotta find out.
I mean, I didn't feel like... I don't know. Never mind.
What?
Well, I was going to say, I don't really feel like the robots were that evil. But, I mean, they were. But like you're saying, like, humans, nobody was harmed. Like, they at least gave them, like, this fake existence where they could at least feel happy.
So I'm saying, let me say this, right? If these robots were real, Republican congressmen would work their hardest to unplug from the Matrix to get to the real world just to give these robots some tax cuts. Because Republican politicians love nothing more than giving tax cuts to organizations that just want to suck the populace dry.
That was so out of nowhere.
So Mitch McConnell somewhere is out there just stirring in his grave, because I firmly believe he was replaced by a robot several years ago. And he's stirring in his grave. He's just trying to wake up so that he can go give these robot overlords some tax cuts. Because these robots are no different from the giant mega corporations that are just trying to suck us dry, right? Eat us alive and spit us out.
Wow. And that's what the Matrix teaches us.
That's what the Matrix is about. The robots are Boeing. The robots are Google. They are Electronic Arts. They are Johnson & Johnson. That is who the robots are.
But you just said that you were fine living in the Matrix.
I mean, we do live in the Matrix. We're just being sucked dry by the corporations, right?
Yeah. And you're okay with it, I guess.
I'm not okay with it. I told you I want to become Superman.
Oh, well, you can't become Superman and live in the Matrix.
Dude, can you imagine being just freaking amazing and then Google tries to come and sell you a phone and you're like, no, dude, because I can fly.
I could just fly to whoever I want to talk to. I don't need your phone. But I do need GPS.
Here's the thing. Flying as a superpower, super overrated.
Oh, yeah.
Because here's the thing. You stick me in Nevada, right? And I drive in a straight line. My windshield covered in dead bugs.
Yeah.
I could not fly anywhere without just picking bugs out of my teeth.
You'd have to have a full-on helmet.
Iron Man, now, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
If I could get
Totally.
a suit like that, then yeah.
Yeah.
Same with super speed. There's so many bugs.
Yeah.
And what happens if you like run through a scorpion farm or something like that?
Ew.
Just imagine. My aunt tagged me in this video on Facebook of this cafe in Cambodia where they like only serve bugs. It's called the Bug Cafe.
Gross.
And it's just like spiders and scorpions and it's disgusting.
Well, Andrew tagged me in a stupid video about spiders the other day, and it was
great.
awful.
It was great.
Because it was like a bunch of spiders, and they
Baby
all...
spiders.
Yeah, but they were big, or they looked big at
Well,
least.
yeah, they're like funnel web spiders, I think.
And the camera was like pretty close on them, so you just see this like pile of spiders. But then if you keep watching, it pans over and you see this leg of an even bigger spider.
The mama spider. It's great.
And then it shows the whole spider, and it's so awful. It's so bad.
It was great.
I don't like thinking about it right now.
Do you guys know that spiders are getting bigger?
What?
Oh.
They're evolving to get bigger.
What?
Yeah.
Where did you find that out?
It's like some Snapchat story.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
What's it
Ugh,
called?
that's
I
like
think it's
a-
the dodo.
Dude, every
What's that
time I get on
movie?
Snapchat, which is very rarely. Sometimes they'll send me a notification and be like, so-and-so updated their stories. And it's always just a copy of their Instagram stories. And I already saw it there, but I check every time just on the off chance. And then the first thing on that page, 100% of the time, is like, oh, some Kardashian wore something super revealing. We have one picture of it and then 50 pictures of useless bullcrap. I mean, they don't say that, but that's what it is. So like, I'm like, oh, Kardashian, what's up? And then it's like 50 pictures of just like sandwiches. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So Snapchat news is a sham. Spiders are getting
Yeah.
smaller.
I hope so. I hope.
Which spiders did they say?
I don't know.
Just
it
like all
said-
spiders?
Yeah.
Well, it's like what's it? Eight-legged freaks?
Dude, that's a
Ew.
great movie.
Ooh, I
The-
hate that
the
movie.
chainsaw where he sticks his legs through the grate and it just takes off the legs. It's freaking great.
So gross. I think that's what gave me my fear of spiders.
Dude, for me it was Arachnophobia, Jeff
Yeah.
Bridges.
That's a freaky one.
That's a great movie. We
Ugh.
should watch that.
I chose to watch a lot of scary movies when I was really little, like Eight-Legged Freaks and
Nice.
Volcano movies.
Alien Freaks is a comedy.
Well, yeah,
got
but when
David
I'm like
Arquette.
5 years old, I don't know how old I was when I watched it, but it was terrifying and gave me a fear of spiders. And then I watched like Dante's Peak and Volcano, and now I'm afraid of volcanoes.
Those are great movies.
They are great movies, but they gave me fears.
Man. So The Matrix.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
right.
Okay.
We watched The Matrix today.
There would be no spiders in the Matrix, right? If you
Dude,
didn't want
no,
them.
because they said they tried to make a paradise and they can do. Now, there's no spiders in the real world, so maybe it's not such a bad place.
Huh.
Think about that.
Also, no cows.
All the leather.
You win some, you lose some.
Well, all the leather is already made. I don't need cows past that.
Yeah, but all their clothes were like they had a bunch of holes in them. Like they didn't have enough clothes. They only had one pair of clothes each.
You don't know that. You didn't see their closets. Maybe they have lots of.
Well, then they chose to wear the same pair of clothes every day.
We only saw them over like a day and a half. They probably didn't have time to change.
Could have been longer than that.
It was
Could
like
have been like
9
a
months.
week. Was it? See, they only had one pair of clothes each.
Oh man. All right. That brings us to our next item of business. We're going to do some trivia here. For those of you who don't know, trivia is where Sid handpicks the best of IMDb trivia, so you don't have to read it. And we go through it, and then after that, we're going to do final thoughts, ratings out of 10, and we're going to put this movie right on the Weston scale with every other movie that has been watched for We Watch Movies and then talk about them.
All right. So starting out, legendary Hong Kong stunt coordinator Wu Ping Yun.
Oh, yeah.
He refused to do the movie. But
That was great.
like he got the script and he liked it, but for some reason he just didn't want to do it. So he like was trying to make it so the Wachowskis would just be like, okay, never mind. So he like asked for like a huge fee, and they were like, yeah, cool. And he's like, wait, I didn't want to do this. And then he was like, okay, but I'm completely in charge of all the stunts. And they were like, okay. And he was like, okay. And that was verbatim what happened. Let's see. So all the scenes that take place in the Matrix have a green tint to them, to kind of like look like a computer, I guess. And then all the real world has tints of blue. So I don't know. Do with that what you will.
I will maybe remember it.
It's like I knew it beforehand, and like in some scenes it's noticeable, but in other scenes you're just like, I don't. It looks like something.
Just
So.
looks like a smoggy city.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just like you only notice it when it's like flipping between real world and the Matrix.
no, okay.
Any other scene, you're just like, I don't know, it looks like anything else.
It was pretty cool when Neo, like, all of a sudden everything changed to code instead of people.
Uh-huh.
And he, like, unlocked the code and could do anything.
Will Smith was approached to play Neo.
Yikes!
And instead he did Wild Wild West. So
That's really stood the test of time.
yeah,
Although the royalties off of that song have got to be crazy for him.
probably.
He can't be disappointed.
I started watching that a few months ago, and you see you see his balls. Like, you see it.
The whole package?
I'm
Or just the
You
balls?
see it like from behind. I'm pretty sure it's just the balls. But I was just like, huh, what just happened?
Like at the beginning of 28 Days Later?
Yeah.
And it's like,
oh,
oh!
Okay.
okay, all right. So yeah, I don't know if you like want to see Will Smith in his entirety. There you go. In the first 45 minutes, Neo has 80 lines and 44 of them are questions. So, he's an inquisitive guy.
Huh? Does that count?
What? Huh? Let's see. So it was all shot in Sydney, Australia. And pretty much they just like had to make sets that look like trashy America because Sydney apparently doesn't look like trashy America.
No, it doesn't. Sydney's quite nice.
So good for them. I wish I could do that.
Just go to Sydney or make
yeah.
trashy America.
Go to Sydney for my namesake.
Sydney's cool.
I get to go for free because that's my name.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
You should try that with an airline.
Yeah, okay. Be like, yeah, I got first class. And they'd be like, you don't even have a ticket. I'd be like,
I'm Sydney.
I'm
going
Sydney.
to Sydney.
They'd be like, oh, by all means. And they'd like put me in the cockpit. And they'd be like,
There's like a whole plane full of Sydneys.
oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
Can you imagine that if like Virgin Atlantic did that one day? They're like, today is Sydney Day. Anybody named Sydney flies free.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Can't wait for that day.
What would you do in Sydney by yourself?
Get bit by a snake.
You better go eat some meat pies. They're really good.
Okay.
A fun aside story. I went to a show at the Sydney Opera House, and I was super jet lagged, and I slept through the entire thing. It was this really weird play. It might not have been that weird. I don't know. I think it was because I saw it in like 5-minute segments with like 8 minutes in between because I was trying to stay awake. But the Opera House itself, very cool. The play, 4 out of 10.
For the 40% that you saw.
The meat pies, very good. And then immediately after, we got some ice cream, and it was very good.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, back to trivia. So in an interview, the Wachowskis said that they would take the blue pill because
Well, duh.
yeah. So prior to filming, Keanu Reeves had a 2-level fusion of his cervical spine. So basically, like his legs were starting to get paralyzed.
Do
Jeez.
boys have a cervical spine?
Yes, they do.
So then can boys get cervical cancer? Is this a new thing I have to worry about?
You haven't been checked yet?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No reason to, I thought.
Call your gynecologist now.
Dang, I have to get a gynecologist and health insurance.
Oh man. But so basically like because of that there wasn't like a whole lot of kicking in his choreography. It was like a lot of arm stuff. I mean, I would assume he's fine now. So
Does he do more kicking in John Wick?
I feel
not
like
that
he
I
doesn't.
remember.
I feel like he's always just like standing and
Yeah.
like being awesome. I don't know.
Being awesome.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can we get a GoFundMe going for Keanu Reeves' cervix?
We're gonna save your cervix, Keanu. Oh man. Visual effects takes up about 20% of the movie.
That's it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that actually doesn't seem like too much.
My
but-
favorite green screen is when we go to the cockpit and see them racing through the tunnels, and it just seriously looks like the old Microsoft screensaver.
So in the scene where they're like talking about food and Mouse says something about tasty wheat, for the German versions of it, it was replaced by Sex Krispies.
Sex Krispies?
Yeah. I don't know how that translates, but
That's not a thing.
I don't know. I hope maybe someone who's from Germany can tell us what that means, because we don't know.
Let us know.
And yeah, like the last one, the helicopter rescue took like 6 months to prepare. Yeah. So that's pretty much all my trivia.
That's some good trivia.
Thank you.
We all learned something.
That tasty wheats translates to Sex Krispies.
Sex Krispies. Part of a healthy, family-friendly breakfast. Roll Tide. All right, let's do this. Becca, your final thoughts and rating out of 10 for The Matrix.
All right. Well, I mean, basically, like my hot take, I thought it was really fun. There were a lot of things that I didn't like about it. But overall, it's a movie that you can just like sit down and watch and just enjoy and not expect anything more than just 2 hours of fun. And it's great.
Yeah.
So for that, I will give it a 7 out of 10.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I thought this one was really fun. This is just kind of like the first time you watch it, like you kind of need to pay attention to understand what's going on, but anytime after that, you can just like put it on and watch some awesome fight scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I would probably give it a 6.8.
Cool. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. It's really fun. It's enjoyable. And you really should just watch the sequels. Like, they're not that good, but they're fun. And the fight scenes are still cool. I like the world building here. I like the premise behind it. Yeah. Again, you got to judge a movie based on what it's trying to do and not against every other movie. There's some clunky dialogue. Neo, this is Loco. That's so freaking great.
Where would
I know Kung Fu.
ever know that word? Like, loco? Who's saying loco?
Yeah, he was born outside of the Matrix, and you got to assume that he was speaking English his whole life.
Yeah, but this is... Okay, so maybe he's like 20 years old. This movie takes place in like 2199.
Mm-hmm.
No one's saying loco past 95. Like 1995.
You realize there's an entire population of Spanish speakers just in
Oh,
the
yeah.
world, right?
Oh, gosh.
Definitely say loco.
Yeah, but if they're all speaking English, like if he was...
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
raised
saying. He was
speaking English.
raised speaking English very
Yeah.
clearly.
Anyway, it's a weird line of dialogue.
In any case, the airline jokes, not great. The loco thing, not great. No, I agree. With Becca though, I'm gonna give this a 7. That rounds us out to what do you say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I was almost going to give it a 6.8 actually, but I was too lazy to like round or anything, so or like do anything different. So I was just like, 7.
That puts us at a 6.9.
Yes.
That is the lowest scoring movie on the Weston scale.
It doesn't mean it's bad, though.
No,
We've
it's
just
just
done a lot of great movies.
the worst movie that we've watched.
When you say it like that.
But it's good. It's still really good.
Yeah.
And you should watch it because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then go watch some Mission Impossible because
Oh, yeah.
And we're trying to watch movies that we know are not 10s.
we're not only gonna do freaking Terrence Malick all the time.
Like, we don't just love every movie we see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we specifically chose movies that we really, really liked and knew
Yeah.
would be really high.
Yeah.
So we're trying to watch some other ones as well.
For sure. In other topics, very quickly, once again, your reminder that Midsummer now comes out in the middle or the beginning of July.
In Midsummer.
We went and saw Pet Cemetery. It was fine.
I enjoyed it. I did, but I mean, like, other movies are better.
It was not the greatest movie we've ever seen.
But it was, I mean, she was a creepy girl.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
In other news, I'd also like to petition A24 for screenings of High Life
Mm.
in Utah. I will
Mhm.
go. I will pay money to
We
see
will
it.
be there.
But right now, I don't really have an option for that. Sid, anything you want to talk about?
Yes, I watched Brokeback Mountain.
Ooh, how was it?
It was really good.
I want to see it.
I cried like a baby, and then my roommate walked in, and she was like, "What are you watching?" And then I cried some more. I watched Boogie Nights.
How was that?
It was so good. Like,
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
I really liked it, and like, I mean, like, it's about porn, so like, there were some parts that like I didn't enjoy, but it was really good. Like, I understand why like it's seen as Paul Thomas Anderson's like one of his best. Yeah, that was really good. And then I went and saw Shazam, which was like okay. I don't really understand why everyone's so gaga over it.
I have no desire to see it.
I thought it was fine in some points, and some points I was just like, so. That's pretty much everything of note for me.
Becca, anything you want to bring up?
I don't think we watched any movies lately.
I mean,
I'm
just
just
Pet
watching
Cemetery.
documentaries.
Anything? Anything worthwhile?
I watched Tickled.
What's that about?
It's about male tickling competitions.
What kind of tickling?
Endurance tickling. Like literally just a guy gets strapped down and then 3 guys sit on him and tickle him.
I thought it was erotic tickling.
Well, it's not advertised as erotic. It's advertised as like,
But they're all rock hard the whole time.
well, no. You don't see anything. I mean,
That
It's-
we know of.
You have to assume.
it's for people with tickling fetishes, but they advertise it as like endurance competitions.
And what are the prizes?
Well, they get a lot of money. Like the people who are in the competitions get a lot of money.
Dude, if you're paying me, I'll do that.
No.
A lot of money to just get tickled? That's got to be the single easiest way to make money ever.
Well, no, like honestly, it's awful. Like watching it, like the guys being tickled, like are not enjoying themselves because tickling is like it's torture. They're
Well-
literally tied down.
Well, no, for sure. But as far as torture goes, like
Well, it's I mean, a lot of money is like
here's the thing. Like, what are the rules? Can I just like sit there and scream my head off as long as I don't tell them to stop?
I think so, but like these videos are not used for good things.
Ew.
I don't care.
Like the competition is just like what they say they are. It's not actually what it's for.
How much money?
Well, the one guy said he made like $2,000 for one competition.
That's not a lot of money.
Well, it was a lot for him. That's what I was trying to say. Well, anyway.
If it was like 10 grand, I would do it.
Well, don't do it. But yeah, it was really interesting and I felt a little uncomfortable watching it, but it was interesting and weird. Really, really weird. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it was a documentary about tickling competitions.
All right. I have one more thing I want to mention. This past week, the Criterion Channel launched, which has a good portion of, not the entirety of, but a good portion of the Criterion collection streaming. It's $10.99 a month. They have apps for Android, iOS, Apple TV, Roku, and Fire Stick. Right now, I have not been able to watch anything because the app does not support Chromecast, and I don't have an Apple TV or a Roku or something like that. So I got to figure out, and I'm not just gonna watch a movie on my computer because.
Oh, that's why you were looking for the Apple TV.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to donate like an old Roku or Fire Stick to us, have at it. Because I have like my whole wish list built of movies that I'm gonna watch, but I can't do it now because I'm not about to just watch them on my phone or my computer. So until they get Chromecast support or until I can like find an old Apple TV or something like that, I'm out of luck. I actually think we might have an Apple TV, but I just have to look. So yeah, if you are into art house films, if you're into foreign films, it's really excellent because they've basically taken the Criterion collection and put it on a streaming service. And I'm not just the movies, but the movies are split up into what are called collections. So you'll search for a collection. So you'll have like, I don't know, like Mulholland Drive, the collection. So it has the movie, it has commentaries, it's got features. Like you get access to all of the cool perks from the Criterion Collection on the streaming service. And then if you want to, you can buy the physical version, which I highly recommend because their physical versions are always excellent. I've never bought one that I was disappointed with. But yeah, so that launched this week. Like I said, $10.99 or I think it's $100 for a year. I got a charter subscription, so it's only $9.99 for me. But
Wow. Saving a buck.
yeah, it's gonna actually save us a lot of money, I think, because I think it will stop me from blind buying Criterion movies, which I've done in the past,
That's very good.
and they're expensive. So
Like, what, $40 a...
if they're brand new, they're $40. You should never pay full price though. Wait until they have their half off sale, which is like 5 times a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's something to check out for those of you who are into. They're not gonna have like Mission Impossible on there, right? It's not competing with Disney Plus or whatever it's called. It's for the cinema enthusiast. But highly recommended because the Criterion Collection is great, and we should support this kind of art because they don't run on thoughts and prayers; they run on money. So we need to give them money to support them to continue to release amazing versions of great films. That is my spiel as to why you should support the Criterion Collection. Also, Antichrist is on there, so who knows?
You really want to go down that
Don't
path?
do it.
I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see.
Good luck.
Who knows? I want to watch Dogtown first before I go into any other Lars von Trier.
See, honestly, none of his interest me.
Oh my gosh. I'm so intrigued by him. Everything I've seen from
Really?
him, I mean, I've only seen 2. I've only seen Dancer in the Dark and Breaking the Waves, but both are phenomenal. Just totally, just such a unique filmmaker and such a cool vision and voice that he brings to things. I just wish that he wasn't so over the top. But I'm intrigued by everything that he's done just because he's so like electrifying to me. Just watching his films is really energizing for me, I guess I would say. So that's that. I don't have anything else. You guys?
Nope.
All right, you can find us at Facebook.com/We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, or on Instagram at Movies We Watch. You can slide into the DMs if you have any movies that you want us to cover. Like Becca said, we're trying to open our horizons a little bit and not only cover really obscure films that nobody has seen. So if you have a movie that you like that you want to hear us talk about, similarly to how we did The Matrix, we're very open to it. So like I said, slide into the DMs. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about, and we will do it, because right now nobody's doing it. So do it before it becomes a perk of our Patreon in 5 years. Again, that's Facebook.com/We Watch Movies and Then Talk About Them, or Instagram at Movies We Watch. That's it. Oh, one more thing. I need to start remembering to do this. Please, if you like us, go drop us a review on iTunes. We have a fairly small amount of listeners right now. We have like between 60 and 80 monthly listeners right now. And so if even half of you just went and just dropped us 5-star, 4-star, whatever, just a review on iTunes, that helps us get featured, helps push us up in search results, all that kind of stuff. So even if you don't want to go out and tell your mom about the podcast, just go drop us a review. It'll take you 3 seconds, and we would really appreciate it, because it actually legitimately would help us expand our audience, which is what we are trying to do here. So we thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. I'm Andrew,
I'm Becca.
I'm Sid.
and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Yeah.